Hello everybody, welcome back. You know, spring's just around the corner. Well, today in Texas it's 66 degrees and it's February the 16th. So we'll see spring a little earlier than some of you, or most of you probably. But with that, you know, it brings more shop time. And most of the time what you see me do, everything's up real close. And there's reasons for that. One, sometimes just the shot requires it up close. But secondly, the shop that I work in most time is this little shop. It's about 12 by 16 is about all it is. And I have got just about everything in here as far as benchtop tools is concerned. I've got a contractor saw, a belt disc sander, a jet drill press, a dust collector, a lathe, a bandsaw, Craftsman 10-inch bandsaw, a full-size router table, an oscillating spindle sander, and a small workbench. So it's really pretty crowded in here. And right now it's pretty junky. But so in the next few weeks you're going to see some shop improvement videos from me before we get back into furniture projects or pen projects. But we're going to work on some space-saving ideas. And I've got one in mind. You'll see that video next week. But before we start working on those, today's video I want to show you what this small shop looks like before we do some of the improvements. And then also I recently went through and my bandsaw. I've got a jet 14-inch bandsaw in my other shop that's not climate controlled. That's why I work in here in the winter and the summer months, but in the fall and the spring I try to work in the garage. But in my garage I've got a jet 14-inch bandsaw with a 6-inch riser block, and I've just overhauled it. And in a minute I'll show you what all I've done. Made all the difference in the world. Some of these improvements I recommend. We'll see those in a minute. But first I want to give you a tour, real quick tour of this little shop that is real crowded and messy right now. Okay, as we come in the door here down this left side, you can see I've got my contractor saw. It's folded up down there to get out of the way, and there's my scroll saw. It just rolls around wherever there's a space to put it. Right behind it you see the combination belt sander, disc sander, and on the same table is my jet drill press. Right by it is a dust deputy with a shop vac below it. Storage camera there for paints, coatings, whatever. And my lathe. And then back up the other side, see my Craftsman 10-inch bandsaw. A full-size router table with my Rockler top and Rockler lift. Oscillating spindle sander. And then my small workbench. As you can see, I've got ledges built all around. I have a small mezzanine. I have ledges built all around to store a little bit of lumber and what have you. But as we zoom out, there's just not much room. You can see I've got a pretty narrow walk space. There's probably 6 to 8 feet to walk across there. So I roll out my workbench into the middle, or work off my table saw or router table, whatever it takes. But that's what we've got, and we'll go to work on some space-saving ideas. Okay, I had mentioned that I had overhauled my bandsaw, and I want to show you the 4 things that I've done and made all the difference in the world. I had given up on this bandsaw. I'd quit using it because it just wouldn't cut. I like to make bandsaw boxes and a lot of other things, and I've just got frustrated with it. I even looked at buying a new one, and now I look back at it and it was just silly. But the things that I did, and I did them in this order, has made all the difference in the world. And I changed the drive belt from the rubber belt that was on it to the orange link belt that you can buy, the adjustable link belt. I changed the guides. I took the original manufactured guides off, and I've got some Carter side guides from Carter Products. I bought them at the Indie Woodworker show 2 weeks ago. I have changed the setup on the blade, on how the blade runs on the wheel. I'll explain that to you shortly. And I powder coated the table. And it is like a brand new bandsaw, and I love it. Now let me show you what all we did. One of the first things I did was took the old rubber belt that drove from the pulley to the motor. I took that off and I replaced it with the orange link belt that you can buy. And I bought it at Rockler. I think it was about $45. I'll put a link in the description for most of this stuff. But I replaced the belt with that, and it runs so much smoother. It eliminated a lot of vibration. If you need to change your belt from the traditional V-belt that drives your bandsaw, I really recommend this. I'm also going to put it on my table saw. Second thing I did is I took the OEM bearing blocks and guides off, and I had tried cool blocks, I had tried aluminum, I had tried all kinds of things, you know, in the side guides, and things just wouldn't cut right. And I put Carter Products, I put their side guides and system on, both in the upper and the lower. And by the way, if you change these, it's a whole lot easier to take your table off and set your bandsaw up and then put your table back on. It so much makes the bearings and side guides so much more accessible. But what I really like about them is the ease of which they set up. You can put them on real easy. And then this is for resawing. They also sell what they call a stabilizer guide, and it just takes the place of this, and that's for real fine scrolling and cutting, and that is here as well. That one takes the place of both of those, so those get backed off when this one gets put on. This one is for straight cuts, and these are for intricate and scrolling. You can make half the turn that I used to be able to. And the other thing I want to show you is I learned something about how the blade is to be set up. Throughout my woodworking career, I had always set the blade up to where the middle of the blade was at the crown of the belt, or the crown of the wheel. What I discovered, and Alex Snodgrass of Carter Products put on a demonstration at the show. He's got a video too on how to set a bandsaw up. I'll put a link in the description to that. But I changed this setup and made all the difference in the world. The theory of it is, historically, you've always learned that the middle of the blade should be in the middle of the wheel. You know, the wheel has got a crown to it a little bit. So now the middle of your blade is sitting on the crown. Well, that's leaving the front part of the blade, your cutting part, really on the outside of the middle. So it's not supported. It can move. What should be at the middle is right at the deepest part of the gullet of the blade. That should be in the middle of the wheel. That should be what is supported. And I have changed that setup, and it is amazing. It does make a difference. That takes out all the drift in your bandsaw. Set it where the deepest part of the gullet on the blade rides in the middle of your wheel. And the last thing that I did is I powder coated the top of my bandsaw. Here in Texas, I'm always sweating, so I was always having to, you know, clean it and keep the rust off of it. Well, I powder coated my scroll saw late last year and just loved it. So I powder coated the top of the bandsaw, and no problems at all. Metal slides on it nice, it's durable, and it's nice looking. Now also, a quick tip, you know, when we took our table off to set our bearings, you got to put your table back on. Well, it's not, I always thought it was difficult to level it. Well, it's not. Let me show you. When you get your table back on, all you have to do is take a good piece of wood that's got a good, that's got a good straight flat edge. Make you a cut. Take it to the back of the blade, and if the blade fits in it like that, then your table is level from this way. If it doesn't, then you have to adjust it. But the simple way is just make yourself a cut, take it to the back, and then set it in there. Then you know you're square. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope some of that helped you. Give you an idea of what I'm going to be going through here in the next few weeks. I won't video all these. We will have some woodworking. We will have some pin videos coming up. But there'll be a few here of some shop improvements as well. We appreciate it. We ask that you would like our video, you would share the video. That helps us a lot. And if you hadn't subscribed, please do so. Leave us a comment, like the interaction. And until next time, be creative, be thoughtful, and be safe.